While many of you were out celebrating your Friday evening, carefree, full of joy and laughter, maybe drinking with your friends or playing games, going to bed early for a nice, peaceful slumber, there were some brave warriors that were locked into mortal combat, engaged in one of the largest cyber wars ever fought on American soil. On Friday evening, the unthinkable happened. The impossible became possible. The shit was unshat. Wizard 101 was hacked. One of the largest cyber crimes this world has ever seen. Wizard 101 was subject to naughty messages, potentially from a disgruntled employee. There's theories floating around all over the place. The forensics teams are already on the case, trying hard to crack it and figure out what exactly happened here. Perhaps this was a ghost in the machine situation where Wizard 101 itself became sentient and the AI took over. I couldn't tell you. All I can show you is the aftermath of this bloody battle. What happened is, on Friday, players of Wizard 101, a very popular MMORPG that I'm sure all of you are familiar with, it was extremely huge back in like 2008. I'm sure all of us have dabbled, but maybe many of you didn't stick around, but it does still have a dedicated community, and a lot of them had to witness something that no human being ever should. Horrifying server messages such as this. Now, just by looking at the game's trailer, I'm sure you're able to guess that the majority of the community here is on the younger side of things. It was a game that was marketed towards children, but it still, of course, does have like adults in the community. And as I understand it, it's a pretty well-maintained game. And on Friday, everyone was surprised to see all kinds of server messages popping up with some wild shit on there. And it seems like an employee went rogue. They may have been fired or let go, and they went out with a bang with one last oorah. Now, shortly after Doomsday here, the Wizard 101 servers shut down for maintenance. I'm imagining to fix this issue that they were experiencing. It was kind of like that scene in Harry Potter when he gets all the acceptance letters from Hogwarts, and the parents are like desperately trying to stop the letters from coming in through there. That's what Wizard 101 staff was trying to do against this one rogue hacker or employee. They did manage to stop the bleeding, but you know, it did cause some damage. Like there's scarring here. This wasn't a victimless crime. People had to see some very alarming server messages. Just to further explain what exactly happened, players were getting sent messages from the game itself, so little server notices that pop up on the side of the screen. And usually this is like a message from God in the game. This comes directly from the staff usually, as I understand it, so it'll be things like maintenance or upcoming things, or just basically things directly related from the game in an official capacity. But they use this system to just start pumping wild messages in there, such as this Walter White message, which it's kind of a banger. You know, I think this one goes kind of hard, but I knew they could do better, and they did. So let's go through some of them. Now let's spread these magically delicious cheeks and take a bite. This was one of the first messages players received, I believe, so an immediate red flag that started tipping people off that, you know, maybe something's awry at the Wizard 101 headquarters. You know, the office is maybe, in peril. So they got this message saying, email support at wizard101.com so I can get a raise. You know, that's not something that Gandalf would say, right? Like, that's not very in line with the theme of Wizard 101. But it's not that bad either. You could write this off as, you know, a happy little accident, like a little goof, a little Easter egg. But then from here, it gets a bit chaotic. So I'd like to show you an article that talked about this, and they hypothesized that this all could be a marketing stunt. And I don't want to take that completely off the table, but I think that would be one of the boldest strategies I've ever seen, to use dick and balls, fuck, and this game is shit as a marketing strategy in a game that's mainly aimed at like 10-year-olds. I don't know how well that would go over if it turns out this was a plan. I just struggle to envision a world where parents give a round of applause to the marketing manager at Wizard 101 who comes forward and says shit like, "Yep, hey, I was the man behind the curtain the whole time, you know, hey, this was my idea, so you remember when all your kids were getting messages in their inbox that just said dick and balls? That was me, that was my idea, I know. I fucking know, I graduated top of class. Anyway, Wizard 101, free to play, let's go, let's go. You know, tell your friends." It seems really unlikely to me, but anyway, let's get back into some of the other messages. This one's my personal favorite. This one just says, "The next world is my boss's asshole." And I'm honestly considering downloading the game. So if it is a marketing ploy, it worked on me, because now I'm on the edge of my seat. Are they actually going to put the dude's colon in the game? Because that would be an incredible landscape to explore. So this is getting me hyped. I think this is a great idea. Imagine the next DLC content drop for Wizard 101 is just some grown man's butthole that you cast spells on like hemorrhoids in. It's such an amazing concept. In another message, they said, King's Isle is the worst company I've ever worked for. King's Isle is the developer behind Wizard 101. So this one's kind of like the immediate gotcha moment, like, so it is a disgruntled employee. But it's still important to note that it could just be someone that was able to hack in and they're just framing it like this for the sake of an interesting narrative. Or it could be someone completely unaffiliated with the company that's just doing this to stir up shit and just do it for, a bit of a gag, troll a little bit. And it might not be an employee, though I do think it most likely is. I also quite like this one. The wizard police are after me. I like to envision a world where he is on the run, but he's taken his laptop with him, but he's still constantly sending messages while he's being hunted by Wizard 101 security. It's a beautiful disaster. And it's really not that big of a deal. I don't think too many people in the community were upset, but it does seem like Wizard 101 took it very seriously. Even taking the servers offline to address the problems. I don't think they've made like a formal statement or anything on it yet. Not that I've seen, at least not as of right now, making the video. But I imagine in the coming days they will talk about it. Like, they kind of need to, like, explain. Was it an employee? Or were you compromised? Like, what happened here, huh? I just want to know. I need the closure. Who's done this? Who would defile such sacred land as Wizard 101? But anyway, I think this was a net positive for the game because it put the game on a lot of people's radar again. Like I said, most people knew it from back when they were kids, not realizing it was still around. And I saw a few people say, I'm going to try the game out now. So it could have been a Galaxy Brain marketing plan. I just still really doubt it. If it was a little less intense on dick and balls and fuck and this game is shit, I'd be more inclined to believe that it was all marketing. Just saying things like wizard police are after me or email support or, the company's bad and I'm on the run. Then I'd be like, okay, that's more likely. But in its current state, I still think this was either someone hacking into troll or an employee that got upset. Either way, though, a pretty fun situation. That's about it. See ya.